Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to the realm of inspiration. It is officially time to start a new age, and that is the start of the spring season, the first solstice of 2024, and the start of the new astrology year with the astrological sign Aries. So there is the energy of fire, there is the energy of rebirth and of spring. And what is more fitting than fire, rebirth, spring, than talking about the dragons and, of course, recapping the past astrological year that we had, talking about winter. And so I wanted to talk about the biggest lesson that winter taught me, and do a quick little protection clearing sort of thing, not as long as I've done in the past, just something quick and easy. Biggest lesson and biggest takeaway that I could take from winter is reclaiming your energy and breaking vows of the past that no longer serve you. I learned that vows from the past, whether ones that I spoke onto somebody between my relationship with somebody else and myself, or vows spoken onto me by somebody else, tend to have a huge effect. And that lesson came to me towards the end of the winter season, came to me last week, was showing me very clearly what has caused a lot of issues, a lot of blockages, and hindrances along the way. And when I looked at our collective experience, specifically in America, there's a lot of vows and experiences, contracts, and things of the like that happened in the beginning of our country's development that are definitely influencing us now. And even in Europe as well, there's a lot of old vows, a lot of old beliefs, a lot of old things that are still dictating how we're living in the new age. So to clear that is a key message that winter brought, as well as recharging your energy and identifying when you're feeling drained and trying your best, as hard as it may be, to try and take a step back from the things that are draining you. This past weekend, I led a class on Truly Harmonious Connections. And let me say, another last final message that winter brought me is just trusting the process. And it's okay to feel your emotions and feel upset and feel angry when things don't work out how you believe that they are going to, or how they should be. But adaptability, resilience is something that's important to carry with us. This past weekend, I was supposed to lead a class about turning your home into a sacred spiritual space. But per marketing error and me not paying attention and following that gut feeling inside that was telling me, I don't know if this is right, I ended up doing Truly Harmonious Connections. And what happened is I learned that it needed to be a part 1 and 2, that there needed to be a second aspect of it, a second key to reach other people. So that was something that I learned and experienced and felt in the moment. And one thing that really taught me is that we have to trust the process and know that even when we are deterred or we have an expectation for something and it doesn't work out the way that we had initially planned, that there's a reason. And the chief Elfian warrior that I ended up channeling when I felt so uncertain delivered that message to me very clearly, that some things just we aren't ready to do, and we were projected to do them based on other influences, and if those things and pieces don't work out, then we can't necessarily do what we were initially supposed to do, and we have to adapt and change. And adaptability is a key lesson of life. So what I wanted to do before doing the channeling is doing a little protection of energy and breaking vows. So I did do a Board of Karma petition on Leap Day to kind of set the tone and energy as we were entering, into the month of March, because there was a lot of karmic relations, karmic things going on. So I'm just going to invite into the space. I'm holding Himalayan salt rocks. So if you have any, and if they happen to be in the shape of a heart, that's great. But if you have any, I recommend grabbing them. If you have any Himalayan salt rocks, just being with the Himalayan salt, because they do neutralize energy and purify the air. So it's really something good to hold on to. So I am going to call on, I got one bigger heart and one smaller heart. right now, and this is smaller because it did absorb a lot of just like, it absorbed and purified and cleaned and cleansed so much to the point that I had to like wash it and clean it, and it like kind of became more fine, and it really did its job. So shout out to Himalayan salt rocks for being cleansers of the earth. So I'm going to call on Archangel Zadkiel, a more dominant energy force at this time, archangel that works with karma and karmic balance, because that is definitely more related to soul vows and soul contracts. So as the dominant energy force, so I ask and invite Archangel Zadkiel to come and stand on our right hand. Right hand is my dominant hand, so that's where I'm gonna have him stand, but I was doing the like mirror opposite with the camera. But come and stand on our right side, Archangel Zadkiel, and Archangel Daniel for justice to come and stand on our left side. So right now we're vowing that no one and nothing can access our energy without our permission. We are surrounded by divine light and love, and we are guided and supported with the help of Archangel Zadkiel, Archangel Daniel, and the Elfian warrior domain, as well as the dragon realm and the phoenix realm. We're invoking the flame of truth right now to fill us from head to toe, surround us all around, light the path before us, and weave a beautiful path all around us. And we are invoking the tree of knowledge to shine a light through us, move through us, anchor us, create a path before us, behind us and around us, weave with the flame of truth, and we're going to have the whole warrior frequency creating this woven path in front of us, to the left of us, to the right of us, behind us, and all around. So we are just surrounded in this beautiful design of warrior frequency, stabilizing us right now. And it's all for our communication. All for our communication body. So right now, I'm going to call on the Elfian healer domain, and I'm going to ask for the Elfian healers to come forth that work with the communication body and the throat chakra to step forth and offer assistance and healing to us all right now. So right now, and I invite you all to close your eyes, as well as I'm going to do. Right now, I am inviting our guardian angels into this space as well. Our guardian angels to take our hands as well, and beside Archangel Zadkiel and Archangel Daniel, I ask our guardian angels to stand and create a blanket of protection right behind us, and in front of us to do the path of light, do the path of love, and to help us at this time in breaking vows that no longer serve us. So we're going to start by affirming and saying that any vows that I may have spoken onto others in this lifetime or the past that no longer serve us, that do not serve the highest good of the collective all, that are not for the betterment of our ascension, any vows that may also be infringing on free will, controlling others, draining others' energies, I break them now. I dissolve them now. I am taking the flame of truth. I am taking Archangel Michael's sword of truth, and I am cutting and dissolving those vows that I spoke onto other souls in this lifetime or the past that no longer serve us. I am breaking them, I am cutting them, I am dissolving them. As they turn to ash, I turn them and reconstitute them into light and send that light energy back into the universe, and that light energy to refill the holes of drained energy that may have been placed on the parties that I put vows undeservingly on, to fill and send them back the light that they deserve, and send me as well the light that I deserve, the forgiveness light for putting vows that were against the highest good and betterment of the ascension of all. I am putting the forgiveness light on myself and those parties as well, and we are turning the ashes of those vows into the light of forgiveness so that we may feel recharged and plentiful and separate from one another. We are separate from one another. Those vows that no longer serve us, we are separate from them now. So Archangel Zadkiel, I ask you now, and I I ask you humbly now to help us dissolve and remove those vows. All contracts that no longer serve us are dissolved and broken now. You can take the discharge of energy to be taken and reconstituted into the light, give it to the earth to reconstitute it, and use it to plant new seeds of hope, love, inspiration, and most of all, forgiveness and freedom and free will. Now, I am asking for any vows that anybody has placed upon me undeservingly for the worse of my ascension, any vows that were placed upon me that are draining my energy, that are causing me to be lost, and as a result causing the other party to be lost as well. I am asking you humbly, Archangel Daniel, Archangel Zedkiel, I am asking you humbly now to use your light to help us break that vow. I am breaking that vow. That vow can no longer access me. I am breaking that vow. I ask Archangel Michael to bring his sword of truth down on that vow and dissolve it now, because it is not for the betterment of our ascension. It is not for the highest good of the collective all. It is not from a place of divine light and love. I am breaking all the vows that are from a lower frequency, from a lower place that no longer serve the collective all. Now I am breaking them and dissolving them now, sending that energy to be reconstituted into the light, and for only the light of forgiveness to find us now. The light of forgiveness, because I do not hold grudges against the person who put unjust vows onto me, and I forgive myself for putting unjust vows onto others. We are breaking those vows now. And I ask Archangel Chamuel to step forth now, the archangel that works with love, to ensure that any vows from a place of divine light and love, any vows for the betterment of our ascension, any vows that elevate us and raise our energy, that are for the highest good of the collective all, that all of those vows stay, and you purify any vows that are doing the opposite from our lives. I humbly ask you now to remove them all, and I send the light of forgiveness to myself and to others, and free myself and others in the process from feeling weights of guilt that they do not need to feel, weights of any negative emotion that may be influencing their ascension journey and my ascension journey. So for the betterment of our ascension, I call upon our Elfian traveler guides, our guides of ascension, to keep us on our path, to guide us on our way, and to free us from anything that may try to weigh us down, because our path is lit with the flame of truth. It's lit with divine light. It's lit with divine love. It's lit with the tree of knowledge. It's lit with the flower of inspiration and the tree of life and the lotus of life as well, and the flower of life and all frequencies of life, and as well for the golden rainbow fire to now come shining down on the path around us, and golden Christed light to finalize and conclude the beautiful woven path that is all around us now. And we are free, and we dissolve anything that has been unjustly weighing us down or weighing others down. We are free, we are free, we are free, and we invoke now that free will above all else is the most important thing to respect, and we will no longer vow things that may infringe on someone's free will. We no longer wish to do anything that may harm someone's freedom, and we ask, if anybody is doing that to us, that with the light of forgiveness and the flame of truth, we are free from that evil eye sent to us. And purification. I'm going to take a moment to kind of just like feel and ground yourself with Mother Earth, and we'll just, Angelic Mother Gaia grounds and anchors us, frees our feet, because a lot of that discharge energy is going to come from your feet. So just visualize the Angelic Mother Gaia coming and taking it from your feet. And now you have a little bit of that like freedom, and there might be a little bit of opening of energy. So calling on Heavenly Father God from above to send that angelic divine light to fill those gaps with divine light and love, and just feeling that peace, divine tranquility We're just filling ourselves with divine tranquility. Now, if you want to open your eyes, or when you feel ready, I'll still go on with the messages and things of the like. That's very much related to the dragons, because dragons shine a light on truth. And they shine a light on freedom, and they clear ley lines. Dragons tend to work on the polarity line, clearing things. They also work with justice. And the dragon, my highest self, since I started my awakening journey, has always presented itself to me as a solar dragon. And so I have taken it upon myself to learn as much as I can about how the dragon works, how the dragon energy works, and it's really just the tree of knowledge is a part of my soul story, and some of us have that, where the tree of knowledge light is part of our soul makeup. Some of us have where it's the flame of truth. So I started to learn a little bit more about that, and I did a blog post about invoking, I think it was invoking the tree of knowledge, and I did affirmations on my podcast, An Hour in Golden Sunshine, about connecting to the tree of knowledge. So really, I'll link those things, and I'll put those things in the description so you can access them as well. But really, what I wanted to do to ring in this spring season was to do a channeling from the Elfian Animal Healer elder to talk about the dragons and just who they are, what they do, and to kind of treat that as like an interview almost on understanding the dragons. Because I can sit and I can explain, but I think that I'm not the best person to offer clarity on that. When I can channel it, and I know that it's something that can be better communicated when I am doing a channeling, then I do that. I typically tend to tap into my highest self energy when I do my podcast, An Hour in Golden Sunshine. I'm just able to tap in very easily, and it's almost as if I'm channeling my highest self, that I'm not at the same time, and it's really only in that space when I sit down and I do that I can really feel that. And so in this format, it just, I don't feel like I can do it. So I can humbly say that. And do a channeling and learning a little bit about the dragons and how they're going to help us, because it is the year of the dragon. The dragon energy can help us so much. But I just want to thank all the angels, thank all the elves, thank all the dragons and the phoenixes and all the powerful light energy, because I personally do feel way lighter, and I feel way more free. So that being said, let's do the channeling. Okay, so before I start the channeling, I want to talk about the crystalline energy that wanted to step forth at this time to help support channeling of the dragons, and that is strawberry quartz. So strawberry quartz is a crystalline energy for this new spring season, which even strawberry energy I've been feeling like very much is just resonating with spring, as well as the Himalayan salt rocks, and I got a whole bunch of selenite. I will show you. I have a huge beacon of selenite. So selenite for this new year, and for, the frequency of knowledge, selenite. Fully selenite. This is heavy, but selenite is definitely a powerful energy. So I'm actually gonna, hopefully, the selenite does not interfere with the channeling. The crystals never do, but sometimes the crystalline Elfian elementals of the crystals want to come forth and speak when I hold the crystals, but I don't feel like that being the case right now. I feel like the selenite's just assisting and helping energy. So I do recommend, if you're feeling, after doing that cleansing, some like blockages or something, not blockages, but like, I don't know, something going on with your sacral chakra, and you just want to feel a little bit of light and support on your sacral and on your root and on your navel, holding some selenite right there, or placing some selenite on your lap is really going to help. Freedom from blockages is what I wanted to say. Freedom from blockages. So right now I'm safe and protected. Nothing can access me nor my energy without my permission. And when I have safely stepped back, I'm calling on the head animal healer elder of the head animal healer elder to talk about the dragons. She's already coming forth a little bit, and she's gonna switch it to, and the elves that work with the dragons, but she's gonna come forth first. So, Divine Feminine, head animal healer of the animal healer domain of the Elfian realm. When I've safely stepped back, you may step forth. Hello, beautiful beings! I am so excited to be talking to you all about this today. I have been feeling so much excitement, so much anticipation, so much waiting to talk about this, because we talk about the animals so much, and you know me, I'm the elder of the animal healer Elfians, and I've come forth and channeled so many times, come forth through our communicator to talk to you all, and so I've been waiting for this moment to start talking about the dragons a little bit more, and then the phoenixes and all of these other higher realm, higher light energies. You know, we are beings of these frequencies. We are essentially like light energy souls created from these eternal plantations that exist in the universe, and we've expanded and grown so much and have these powerful energetic meeting spaces, and our names have changed and grown as the earth has gone through different shifts, and our physical appearances have changed and grown, because we don't have physical forms, but how we present ourselves to you has evolved and changed throughout time as well. You know, it's truly fascinating, and for a communicator who has a deep connection to the dragon realm as well. You know, and when we first stepped forth to her and we asked her to be our communicator, she said, well, I have this dragon connection. Am I ever going to communicate on behalf of the dragon realm? And we told her, you don't need to communicate on behalf of yourself, you just need to communicate as yourself. And so this is just very exciting also for her and her soul as well, to just finally be talking about this dragon energy. So very exciting, and I typically come forth very, you know, I'm typically very more like maternal and soft and more calm, but at this time, you know, I'm not really my normal self. I'm excited, you know. Typically, you know, I get excited when it's time to educate about something new and teach about something new. I get very excited because knowledge is something that is so exciting. And when I channel through our communicator, she has, like, you know, the excitement of knowledge like embedded in her soul and even in her physical body. That mark is on her. The mark of excitement about knowledge, the mark of seeking knowledge is right on her face. So it's right there, and it's a little dot, but it's there, and it's shining through. So it's just excitement for knowledge. So I hope you're all ready for knowledge and learning about something new. Our communicator had a few questions, you know, about the dragon realm and how I go about explaining it. So first I want to answer by saying that the dragon realm, we call them a part of the mystic animal life, basically meaning that their souls aren't necessarily group souls, but how their physical forms would appear if they were to incarnate in the physical would resemble animals. So their souls typically are ones that can either choose to blend with a tree of life frequency, just meaning that a soul of life, a human soul, is gifted a frequency of the tree of knowledge, flame of truth, or what have you, to help them in their journey. And that human soul will then first get to start their experience existing with that energy and spending some time learning about that energy before they go forth to be a being of life and complete missions and purposes that they have to do in the physical reality. So oftentimes what happens is that for the warrior frequency and lunar frequency, the dragon realm offers to human souls a seed of knowledge, the frequency of knowledge to that soul to help them in their journey. It's either that or the frequency of truth, and it's because counterparts will work together with the children of the flame of truth and children of the tree of knowledge working together in soulmate form. So there are phoenixes and dragons, and then that's where the soulmate energy of phoenixes and dragons comes from. So they pair well together, they work together, and they need each other in those qualities to be stabilized and balanced and harmonious. They are counterparts. So the counterparts are always going to find each other no matter what. So what ends up happening with those souls in specific is that then they go to either the solar energy or the lunar energy, and they exist as souls in that energy and are more dominantly connecting to either the flame of truth or the tree of knowledge. Then when they feel ready to step into being a being of life, as that's what they are, with the knowledge and wisdom of whichever frequency of the warrior energy that they are going to possess as warrior souls, they go and find from their soul origins, they go to their star origins. So their soul origins will end up either being the solar frequency or the lunar frequency, depending on who they are. If they're huntress or warrior, that is going to influence their soul origins. And then they go to star origins with their counterpart. So they'll go with their counterpart. And the same is to be said for what we call the Pegasus and Wygon energy, just a different name, to explain the huntress frequency, just because the huntress energy is more connected to horses and the unicorns and things of the like. We're not speaking about that today. We're speaking about the warrior and solar beings, more specifically when we're talking about the dragons. Sometimes dragons will go into the lunar energy more as well, but typically more common to find them in the solar when it comes to gifting light to the warrior human souls. So in that regard, those souls then end up having highest self forms that will present in the form of either a dragon or a phoenix. Not necessarily that they are a dragon or a phoenix, just that their highest soul energy, and when they were first birthed as a soul, that's the energy that they were first resonating with and first learning about and first being as. So that is their like original excellence being. So that's what their highest self will form as. But dragons typically, sometimes they choose. They could choose to stay, like as the warrior souls, they could choose to stay, and the soul origins not leave. And that's where then the true solar, or the true lunar beings, or the beings that exist in the sun and the beings that exist in the moon that don't incarnate in the physical can come from. So that's when I am changing subject a little bit. Gonna follow a different train of explanation because this felt necessary to communicate, is that oftentimes Elfian traveler guides will go and see, when it comes to the warrior souls, them in their original excellence form, or them in their soul origins, and oftentimes those Elfian traveler guides that are drawn to those souls end up becoming, when that soul that they're guiding ascends to Ascended Master, ends up becoming an assistant to the animal healers, because they did feel a draw to working with the mystic without realizing that what they were being drawn to at first was a human soul that ended up being their guide-e, and then still feeling that call to work with the mystic, ends up working with the animal kingdom healers, or the Elfian Animal Healers. So that answered a little question that the communicator had for her own story with her Elfian Traveler Guide. Now, to the dragons themselves, the souls that are the beings of knowledge, they don't come as humans. They don't incarnate in the human form. That's not how it works. They are who they are, and they are what they are, and they exist on the other side of the veil. But they are ones that could be seen clearer, and they are also ones that after the fall of Atlantis, they stuck around the earth, and they were still seen very clearly. They took their physical forms during the Atlantean Age, and a lot of them were still seen very clearly, almost like they could be touched, but there was something that was very far away, that it's almost like humans would want to touch them but couldn't get close enough. Because if they did get close enough, they would realize that the dragon's physical form was fading. It's a soul presenting as a physical form, but there was nothing tangible to touch. So there is so many myths and stories, and what I would call a lot of them misinterpretations and miscommunications of the dragons. Their portal energy does exist in what is now Asia. That is their portal energy. That is where they came and entered. And same with the phoenixes. Also came and entered during the Atlantean Age from where is now the continent of Asia. So the dragons, they lingered for a while, and were very clear to be seen, but a lot of people didn't understand, what dragon are they seeing. Dragons, they follow the elemental path that we follow a little bit, where there are elementals of different elements within the dragon, so the dragon elementals. But then they evolve a little bit differently into just being beings of this, being beings of that. They work with all of these different higher light frequencies, but they can also go and exist in Andromeda, in Sirius, in these stellar star systems. As well as there are dragons that go and work with the archangels and become messengers of the archangels. So like Archangel Gabriel has a legion of dragons that are embedded with the frequency of Archangel Gabriel's diamond of clarity. So there's so many, and so many ascended masters even. Thor, an ascended master Thor, has the dragons that he works with and work with him to help gift the earth a lot of the knowledge, support, and protection that is needed. The golden Christed light has dragons that work with the golden Christed light. Now the golden Christed light is a higher leveled version of the warrior frequency, so of course there will be dragons there as well. So they work with all things, and they don't have an elder format like us Elfians do. They're more individual, and so there's a lot more individuality in them, which is why they can gift light to the humans, because they follow an individuality like humans. However, how they are related to the animal kingdom is because they are almost like they're telepathic to each other. So they follow the individuality that humans follow, but their communication and experiences and empathy towards each other is felt in almost the way that the animal kingdom experiences it. So their souls are all deeply connected and deeply interconnected, and when you call on one, in a way you call on all, which is the same thing that happens with the animal kingdom. If you call on one, you call on all, but they're all are very individual. And everyone has their own dragon. Everyone has a dragon that connects with them. And if you are one of the souls that has a dragon presenting highest self, that is also your dragon. So your dragon is going to end up being a golden solar dragon, or a lunar dragon, or a divine feminine dragon, or a divine masculine dragon. It's going to be what's related to how your higher self presents itself. If you are connected to the Phoenix realm, you still have a dragon, and the dragons come forth as guides of knowledge and spiritual wisdom, and activation of higher wisdom, and also as guides of remembering the codes of Atlantis. They come forth to also just remind you of your soul's original excellence, and just in general remembering and reminding you to be strong in your power. So they're guides of that inner strength, that inner power, whereas the phoenixes become guides of resilience. And so you might have a resilience guide in your spirit team. If you are a dragon soul that comes forth, what we call a dragon soul, but a human soul with a connection to the tree of knowledge, you might have your resilience guides going to come forth almost at the very beginning of your awakening, because it's the counterpart energy, and same for the reverse, because it's your counterpart energy. So the dragons and the phoenixes really follow that counterpart energy very strongly. And what is very interesting is that souls that have a connection with the dragon realm tend to awaken before those of the phoenix. So the dragons are stronger in the sense of their energy is bigger. Their energy is bigger. It is a more dominant energy. So they tend to make their presence known first. So they end up being a catalyst for the phoenixes as well. But what happened was very interesting with how the Chinese zodiac works is that the rebirth, the year of the rebirth, the year of the rabbit, the year of what we're calling also the year of the phoenix, happens before the year of the dragon. And that is because for humans, a lot of times your resilience is what shows you your strength. So you had to go through your resilience and your rebirth to be reborn in your strength. So the rebirth energy is still very strong, and you've been reborn, you are being reborn again in your strength. So the dragons are coming forth at this time to support you and standing in your spiritual power and not giving in to what may feel like weakness in the physical form. Now, I was initially going to transfer the channel over to one of my elves that works with the dragons specifically, but I feel like the explanation and what was meant to be shared about them at this time has really come forth pretty clearly, and there isn't, and also the time frequency elementals are, you know, saying that this is kind of the right timing for a lot of the education on them. So the messages from the dragons, we're going to have our communicator use her audiency. A lot of times when you become a channel, you can turn off your audiency gifts because it's just easier to channel. So we're going to challenge her to try and use her audiency to hear some more of the messages, because we're excited to see her do that. One message that comes from the knowledge frequency in general is that to embrace your power and your gifts, you must remember that you are not just one gift and you are not just one ability, you are a lot of them. And so also that there's a lot of things that go into certain tasks. When wanting to clear the ley lines and the imprints on the earth, you call on the whole dragon team of the dragon elementals of the earth in every way, and you call upon the dark blue dragons, and you call upon fire dragons, and you call upon all of these other dragons. There is not just one that can get the job done. And so in your own life, in your own experience, there's not just one gift and one ability that gets the job done for what you're meant to do. Okay, interesting. I'm very curious why the time frequency elementals were like, okay, let's wrap it up. But let's then talk about, I'm gonna turn on my audience ears and see what I can hear. So the first thing is, an inspired awakening. I do tend to talk a lot and tap into connecting with the dragon frequency. So one thing I feel very dominantly right now is like a pulsing in my crown, but on the right side of my crown, which is just indication of like connection, but very interesting. So I kind of want to hold this again because this is just so powerful. And probably why that elder was very excitable. So one thing that I hear is to talk about the different warrior tribes. So the Elfian warriors have two dominant tribes. To like the north and the south, and the tribes of free will and the peacemakers. So the tribes of free will are these like pillars and ideas that carry energy that there can be higher beings that work with them. So that is freedom, divine justice, and universal unity. And one big thing that I learned is that the lessons of these three things were coming forth as strong themes in the winter season, and I can feel them coming forth even stronger, especially when we're entering the new astrological year. So specifically with universal unity and its ability to bring us together into oneness, and then ultimately we feel freer when we're not being plagued by, judgment. And then with the peacemakers, there you have truly harmonious connections, kindness, and universal tranquility. And specifically when it comes to universal tranquility, what I noticed is that we feel at unease when we're having a disharmony going on in our relationships, and that disharmony ends up resulting in us not being kind and compassionate. And so having compassion in general is something that's going to help us during this time. So one other big message moving forth into the Aries season is that there may be disruptions in communication to clear blockages of miscommunication. And so, a rainbow comes after the storm, and oftentimes the storm comes, it's, what is it, when it rains it pours, or there's like some metaphor, something that I can't think of at the current moment. But basically, the thunderstorm energy comes to clear. And we can't experience that feeling of correct communication if we don't clear the miscommunication. So we may be communicating, and ignoring, that, there is a storm coming. We're ignoring. The signs are all there. We're ignoring, and we're just wanting the rainbow to come. But in reality, the storm has to come, because if it doesn't come, then we're not going to see what we're supposed to see. We're not going to feel what we're supposed to feel. We're not going to experience what we're meant to experience. That can ultimately bring that peace at the end. So there is a lot of clearing of miscommunication that needs to happen. As well as the fear and division mentality, a lot of that needs to be cleared. Dragons are cleansers. At the end of the day, that's a very powerful thing that they do. They are cleansers. So they're fire. The dragon's fire. And I've talked about this before, but the dragon's fire is used to burn away energy vampires. It doesn't matter what kind of dragon it is, it's the dragon's fire. So not the light of the tree of knowledge, it's a little bit different. The dragon's fire used to burn up energy vampires. So if you want to add to your little pathway that we created at the beginning of this video, the dragon's fire, go ahead and do so, because it burns up energy vampires. So people who are draining people's energy, it's gonna come and clear it. It wants, what the dragon's fire, what it comes to do, is communicate the truth, to bring, clarity and higher knowledge and enlightenment, as well as burning up energy vampires. So if there's someone draining your energy, you're going to be shown who is draining your energy, why they're draining your energy, how they're draining your energy, and how you're supposed to clear it. And we're going to be shown that on personal levels, and we're going to be shown that on a collective level. This is just the beginning of the dragon year. And there's a lot of powerful things that are going to occur. But fear is going to cause you to not see the bigger picture. So what's important to do, and especially starting in the Aries season with the fire energy, is to allow yourself to be strong enough to look past fear. Because it is a strength to look past fear. It can be very easy to fall into fear's programming, to fall into what fear is teaching you and telling you to do. It's very easy to also fall into being a puppet of the continued experimentation as well. So what is important to do is not let fear control you, and also to remember your freedom and free will. And to not infringe on someone's free will or try to control somebody. So one lesson that came forth to me in this past week, when I was initially going to do the channeling, I had an event occur in my life. I was going to do it 2 weeks ago. And I ended up doing it, the day before the new astrological year and the spring solstice. I was going to do it 2 weeks prior. So I was going to do it 10 days ago. And then something happened in my life that caused me to see that we all have issues around control. And we have to release them. So relinquishing control. So they want to offer this affirmation to, I am relinquishing and releasing all control, all stress, and all anxiety on results of the outcome of my life and the lives of those around me. I can't control people and write a story that fits my story that I want. This isn't a play that I'm a director of. I am existing in the story of the collective all with the collective all, and thus I can't control people to fit in the story that I want to create for my life. I can't infringe on free will. And so I relinquish all of those practices in my life that may be infringing on other people's free will. All you can do is send a message, send a sign, send a symbol, but you can't control. And I know I can't control others. I can't control the collective all. All I can do is work for the betterment of the collective all and do everything I can to do what is for the betterment and the highest good of the collective all. And I cannot control the people around me, the people outside of me. The only thing I have control of is myself. And how I choose to feel, how I choose to react, and how I choose to treat people. And I choose now to treat people with the kindness and respect of their free will. And if we all continue to respect each other's free will and our differences and relinquish judgment, then that controllingness that we can all feel at times will slowly dissipate. So I am dissipating the control, and I give control to the universe for my highest good. And I'm going to control the things that I can. What is it? The Serenity Prayer. That I think is a beautiful way to end this video, is the Serenity Prayer. So I'm going to pull it up and, let's see. Is it the Serenity Prayer? Yes, okay. Yeah. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And the dragons are bringing us the wisdom to know the difference, because they are beings of knowledge. So they're going to show us what we can and can't control. And because they are full of power and strength, they're going to help show us how to invoke our own courage, how to step into our own power and be ourselves and be who we authentically are and showcase our true spiritual strength. And they're not going to show it to us in the sense of telling us exactly how to do it, but all the experiences that we're going to experience this year, everything that's going on in our personal lives and in the world, is showing us how to show up as our true authentic self and stand in our powerful courage. In serenity and peace, there is peace in the knowledge to know the difference of what you can and can't control. There is peace in the truth. There is peace in knowledge, and there's peace in truth. Because lies and falsehoods and miscommunications and fake news and all of those things that try to control us to feel negative emotions, they disrupt our serenity. But the truth and the true higher knowledge and the truth, just the frequency of truth in general, that clarity brings us serenity. So the dragons can help show us the clarity. And they're going to. They're going to shine a light on it. They can't help it. Because when you are a being of knowledge or a being of truth or a being of light and love, you're going to showcase and you're going to shine a light on what you're meant to. And because dragons are from the frequency of knowledge, one of the biggest things that's going to happen for us this year is light is going to be shined on knowledge. And the things that we believed in our belief systems, there's going to be a light shined on all of it. And a lot is going to change. The things that were communicated to us to take away our free will, the things that were communicated to us to help us step into our free will. And the things that are happening, that are patterning the things that we already experienced during the Atlantean Age, are going to be shown to us. So all higher beings, specifically the dragons, because they burn up energy vampires, specifically the dragons, but all higher beings, are seeing that we're still doing the things that caused the fall of the Atlantean Age. We're still doing the things that caused the fall of the Golden Ages. We're still doing them. It's just not in the same way. And so we're not going to experience that world peace until they stop. And we can't control them to stop based on, well, I want to experience this in this lifetime, so I want to control this to stop because I want to see the Golden Age happen in my lifetime. We can't do that. We can't control that. All we can do is ensure that we're communicating our authenticity and we're doing what we can to raise the frequency of the earth. But some things we can't force to happen before they're ready. And so it's a lesson of control. And because it's controlling things and trying to control things that caused us to fall, wanting to control and play God. So we can't play a role that was never given to us. And it's the same in your own life. You can't pretend to be something you're not. So don't play a role that you were never meant to play. Because the only thing we can control is if we are being our authentic self. And then if we all start stepping into our true authenticity that's not influenced by programming, it's not influenced by these things, it's not influenced by the sound frequency that goes and gets implanted into our subconscious mind. It's not influenced by the programming. We're just being who we are authentically. We're not allowing people to gaslight us or manipulate us into being things that we're not, or to take away our power and strength. We got to control our individual minds first before we can do anything else. And so the dragons they work with the mental body the most because they are beings of knowledge. And so there's going to be a lot of change, a lot of ascension, and a lot of waking up to what's going on in our mental bodies. So I recommend catering to your mental body and keeping an eye on your mental health, because my mental body, since the start of the new lunar year, has gone through a lot. So I can attest to from personal experience that taking care of the mental body is so important, and aligning the mental body with your emotional, with your physical, with your spiritual, and with your akashic, and also healing all those old wounds from your past. Start with clearing your individual karmic balance, and then we can worry about the karmic balance of the world. It starts with you. You can make the greatest change to the world by making the greatest changes to yourself, to the development of yourself, for the betterment of your ascension journey, and to better yourself and your spiritual growth. First start there, then see where you're guided. We all have a part to play. We can't all do everything. We can do what we're meant to do. And also the message of there are so many other things and so many other aspects of who we are and what we're meant to do. And we're not meant to just do one thing or be one thing, because that's not life, you know. A tree goes through its seasons. It's, it's a home for animals in every season. It goes through its changes. It's not always, full of flowers, and it's not always shedding leaves. It's not always just doing one thing. But the one thing that remains the same is that it's providing oxygen. It's providing life and the frequency of love. So we are, in our nature, we're going to provide life. And we're going to provide love. We are going to radiate it. Even in our darkest of moments, our original excellence is being beings of light, love, and life. So that's something that will always remain the same. But there are other seasons that we have to go through and other things that are going to work at other times. So learn what works best for you at the season of life that you're in. That feels like the concluding message, as well as to search for your egg of knowledge. Find your egg of knowledge and crack it open and learn something and share it with the world. Don't really know what that means, but sometimes the dragons can speak very like rhymefulness, so I'm glad that I'm speaking at least in a coherent way, but they can be very and I can be that way sometimes too, where I can like get very lost in metaphor and rhyming and creating a sense of like rhythm and rhyme and poetry to things, which is fun, but doesn't work all the time. So I don't know, maybe they're saying something like create a song, create the song of your life, and sing it loudly and sing it proudly, but don't sing it in a way that it's gonna infringe on other people's free will. That's it. That was the last message. Trying to hear if there's anything else. Serperidian, the stone Serperidian, is gonna have an influence, impact something in this upcoming astrological year. So maybe I'll do a channeling with Serperidian. Believe that's I have it. I actually call it the dragon's egg. So this crystal is going to hold a lot of power. Actually, funnily enough, I have a little dragon inside of it. Would you look at that? So, Serperidian. Remember that. For next time, and may the petals of the flower of inspiration lead you back to us again. Stay inspired, and sending you love, light, and knowledge. Stay your authentic self.